Welcome to Mommy Dottie Tutorial Auditing Series. This time we will only answer questions related to risk-based audit procedures, specifically for pre-engagement procedures. So I have here 20 multiple choice questions with suggested answers and explanation. So this question 21 to 40. So if you want to see the questions 1 to 20, I'll share the link in the comment section. So if you're ready, let's dive in. Okay, for question number 21, the risk of material misstatement is a combination of A, inherent and detection risk, B, control risk and audit risk, C, inherent risk and control risk, and letter D, detection and audit risk. You may pause the video to think. The correct answer is letter C, inherent risk and control risk. So remember, RMM is the risk of material misstatement, which includes the inherent and the control risk. Okay, question number 22. Which of the following is a financial statement level risk? A, inventory obsolescence, B, revenue recognition timing, C, management override of controls, and letter D, misclassification of expenses. So you may pause the video to think. The correct answer is letter C, management override of controls. Management override is a risk affecting the entire financial statement. Okay, moving on to question number 23. Which is the primary objective of the auditor's risk assessment procedure? A, decide engagement acceptance, B, plan substantive procedures, C, detect all errors, and letter D, eliminate the control risk. So you may pause the video to think. The correct answer is letter B, plan substantive procedures. So risk assessment is done to plan the nature, timing, extent of further audit procedures. Okay, question number 24. Which control deficiency would most likely increase the control risk? A, monthly review of journal entries. B, no segregation between recording and custody of assets. C, audit committee meets quarterly. And letter D, closing checklist in use. You may pause the video to think. The correct answer is letter B, no segregation between recording and custody of assets. So lack of segregation of duties is a major control deficiency. Moving on to question number 25. Which statement best reflects the concept of risk-based auditing? A, same procedures for all accounts. B, focus on low-risk areas. C, concentrate on high-risk areas. And letter D, minimal evidence gathering. You may pause the video to think. The correct answer is concentrate on high-risk areas. Okay. Moving on to question number 26. When inherent risk is high and control risk is low, the auditor should A, fully rely on controls, B, ignore risk factors, C, increase substantive testing, and letter D, decrease substantive testing. You may pause the video to think. The correct answer is letter C, increase substantive testing. So a high inherent risk requires substantive testing despite strong controls. Okay. Question 27. Which is least likely a factor in assessing inherent risk? A, transaction complexity. B, effectiveness of internal controls. C, estimates and judgment required. And letter D, fraud susceptibility. You may pause the video to think. The correct answer is letter B, effectiveness of internal controls. Control effectiveness pertains to control risk, not inherent risk. Okay, let's go to question number 28. A risk-based approach to auditing encourages auditors to A, avoid planning, B, rely on prior year audit programs, C, customize procedures based on identified risks, and letter D, only test controls. You may pause this video to think. The correct answer is letter C, customize procedures based on identified risk. So risk-based auditing tailors Risk-based auditing tailors procedures to a client's identified risk. Question 29. In evaluating risks, auditors consider both likelihood and A. Number of controls, B. Cost of procedures, C. Materiality of misstatement, and letter D. Audit engagement length. You may pause this video to think. The correct answer is letter C. Materiality of misstatement. Auditors evaluate likelihood and impact. So, question number 30. Which document best supports risk assessment procedures? A. Management representation letter. B. Trial balance. C. Risk assessment working paper. And letter D. General journal. You may pause this video to think. The correct answer is letter C. Risk assessment working paper. So working papers document identified risks and planned responses. Okay, this is now the first half of all the questions. Now let's move to the second half. Question number 31. What is the primary objective of a risk-based audit approach? A. To eliminate all risk in financial statements. B. To focus audit efforts on areas with highest risk of material misstatement. C. To reduce audit fees by minimizing testing. And letter D. To comply with tax regulations. You may pause this video to think. The correct answer is letter B. To focus audit efforts on areas with highest risk of material misstatement. This is in accordance with PSA 315. Okay, question 32. Which is a component of audit risk? A. Detection risk. B. Compliance risk. C. Liquidity risk. And letter D. Market risk. You may pause this video to think. The correct answer is letter A. Audit risk, detection risk. So audit risk is equal to inherent risk and control risk and detection risk. So remember the three: inherent, control, and detection. Okay, let's move to question 33. Inherent risk is higher for which Philippine scenario? A sari-sari store with cash transactions. B. A manufacturing company with PFRS compliant financials. C. A government agency with COA oversight. And letter D. A nonprofit with donor restrictions. You may pause this video to think. The correct answer is letter A. Sari-sari store with cash transactions, because cash transactions have higher inherent risk due to theft susceptibility. Remember that cash is highly liquid. Okay, let's go to question 34. How does an auditor respond to high control risk? A. Reduce substantive testing. B. Increase reliance on internal control. C. Expand substantive procedures. And letter D. Withdraw from engagement. You may pause this video to think. The correct answer is letter C. Expand substantive procedures. According to PSA 330, it requires more substantive testing when control risk is high. Okay, let's go to question 35, which is not a risk assessment procedure. A. Analytical procedures. B. Inquiry of management. C. Observation of inventory accounting. And D. Issuing an unqualified opinion. So you may pause this video to think. The correct answer is letter D. Issuing an unqualified opinion. Letters A, B, and C are all risk assessment procedure. So opinions are issued post the audit, not during the risk assessment. Okay, now let's go to question 36. Before accepting an audit engagement, the auditor must A. Sign the management representation letter. B. Evaluate independence and competence. C. Prepare the audit report. And letter D. Verify all transactions. You may pause this video to think. The correct answer is letter B. Evaluate independence and competence. So PSA 220 mandates independence and competence checks pre-engagement. Question 37. Which document formalizes audit terms? A. Audit plan. B. Engagement letter. C, management representation letter, and letter D, preliminary analytics. So you may pause this video to think. Remember, this is to document or to formalize the audit terms. The correct answer is letter B, engagement letter. So PSA 210 requires an engagement letter defining scope and responsibilities. Question 38. A predecessor auditor must A, share confidential client information. B, obtain client permission before discussing engagement. C, prepare successor's audit report. And letter D, continue auditing indefinitely. You may pause this video to think. The correct answer is letter B, obtain client permission before discussing any engagement. So according to PSA 510, it protects client confidentiality without consent. Question 39. Which factor would lead an auditor to decline engagement? A, complex accounting estimates. B, high inherent risk. C, management's refusal to provide records. And letter D, tight deadlines. So you may pause this video to think. The correct answer is letter C. Management's refusal to provide records. How are you going to do your audit if you don't have the correct records? So it violates PSA 500, the audit evidence. Okay, our last question, question 40. Purpose of client acceptance form. So what's the purpose of client acceptance form? A, to draft audit report. B, evaluate risk or conflicts pre-engagement. C, replace engagement letter. And letter D, file with the BIR. So you may pause this video to think. The correct answer is letter B, evaluate risks or conflicts pre-engagement. All right. That concludes our quiz, yay, related to pre-engagement risk-based audit procedure. So please watch my next quiz for questions 41 to 60. And don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.